Welcome to the first and final word with Nelson Jordan. I'm Chris Nelson. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on all of our social media pages, and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can keep up with all we have going on and catch up on any content you may have missed. We are going to be doing our Redzone review of the Week 5 NFL afternoon slate of games. So we will start it off with the Indianapolis Colts defeating the Las Vegas Raiders 40-6. Nelson, what were your takeaways?
This was just Indianapolis on a different class, period, on all phases of the game. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns. I mean, what else can you expect from essentially the running back probably of the year so far? Indy's defense continues to gain confidence and be one of the top half of the league defenses in the league. They picked up Geno twice, and now Raiders fans are thinking, is Geno the problem or is coaching the problem? Because this offense is as dead anemic as possible. That literally sums it up in a nutshell. What's your take?
Yeah, I have little to add to that other than the fact that I feel so bad for Max Crosby because that guy's absolutely unbelievable and no one would.
I was thinking about that too.
Because the score was 40-6. So much credit to the Colts for that dominant, impressive, very impressive. It does have to be noted that A.J. Cole, the multiple-time All-Pro punter for the Raiders, got hurt, left the game, did not return, and the Colts kicker he got hurt and did not return, which first the Colts have to go for some 2-point conversions. I believe they converted 1 of 3, so they actually left a point off the board, which they would have had if they'd been able to kick those extra points. Moving on, the New Orleans Saints defeated the New York Giants 26-14. No Malik Neighbors for the Giants, of course.
Man, the New York Giants, the New York fans in general, they are feeling the blues everywhere. All New York teams suffered this weekend. That's a wink, wink to the future. Listen, if you're in New York, you are, as a fan for the Giants, you are pissed off. Dable and company, they shot out of a cannon this game. Early lead, 14-0. But the rest of the team, I mean, when you self-implode, 5 turnovers, let alone 3 fumbles on the ground, 2 picks thrown by Jackson Dart, you are giving every opportunity in the book to New Orleans to come back. That's exactly what they did. The one best play of the whole entire game was Rattler to Shaheed for an 86-yard bomb. That was the play of the game. And New Orleans finally wins the first game of the season, and that's the game in a nutshell.
It was actually 14-3, just to clarify. The Giants scored a touchdown. The Saints answered with a field goal, and the Giants had
14-3.
14-3, and then the Saints scored 23 unanswered to close it out. Jackson Dart was horrible. I mean, first of all, let's give credit to Kool-Aid McKinstry. He had 2 interceptions off him, and they were tremendous interceptions. You got the guy wearing the Kool-Aid Man head in the stands in New Orleans. And Jackson Dart, though, also lost a fumble in which no one touched him. He just lost the ball. Cam Scottaboo lost a fumble as well, which was a great play by the defense to force it. And the Giants just couldn't get it done. Another play, Jackson Dart on the flea flicker. He had Darius Slayton wide open and underthrew him badly, allowing the safety to recover and break it up for an incomplete pass, which credit to the safety for recovering. But Jackson Dart has to get that ball out there to him. So they squandered opportunities in this game. I understand they're without Malik Neighbors, but I will note one final thing. It is interesting that when we discussed Jackson's Dart injury, you went through some of their upcoming schedule, and you mentioned, oh, well, they play the Saints. And I said, where's the game? This was why. The Dallas Cowboys went to East Rutherford, New Jersey, and beat the New York Jets 37-22. Your takeaways?
I don't care if the score is 37-22. This could have been a 50 burger the Dallas Cowboys could have put on the Jets. This was the most pathetic Jets performance I've seen all year long. I mean, the Jets didn't look like they were serviceable. They didn't have any morale in this game to begin with. And Dak just looks like he's continuing to make his case of like, everybody forgot about me. What about me? I'm probably the MVP of the league so far because I'm carrying this whole team. And that's saying something because there's another quarterback down south that's also having quite a caliber of a season. But 4 touchdowns for Dak. Javonte Williams, as you've been preaching on since the start of this season, 16 for 135 and 1 touchdown. And that Dallas defense, got to give credit. I mean, they made fools of that Jets offense. And the Jets honestly, that score was only because it was garbage time. But when the Dallas defense can get 5 sacks, 6 TFLs, and 1 fumble, when they are notoriously bad all year, Jets, you have a problem. And yes, the Jets do have a problem. So that's my take on the game. You got anything else on that?
Yeah, so much for they can't rush the passer and really just the backfield in general, because tackles for loss obviously count sacks, but outside the sacks without Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. So much for that. And I know they have another player missing this season with injury as well, who showed a lot of promise last year, whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce, but for right now. I'll get it later on when he's playing, guys, next year. But that being said, I do want to shout out George Pickens as well. He beat Sauce Gardner, whose first couple years in the league, first team All-Pro, best cornerback in the league, arguably. And that was a heck of a catch he made to beat him, and great throw by Dak Prescott. So, yeah, the Cowboys looked really good. They took it to the Jets. I don't think it's exactly a surprise. No CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys, making it even more impressive. So, good stuff. The Denver Broncos came back from a 17-3 deficit to score 18 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to close the game and beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia 21-17. Your takeaways, Nelson.
Follow me here. The Broncos lose their golden horseshoe. They go to Philly, the Link. They find the golden horseshoe, and they ride high out of Lincoln Financial Field. That's exactly what the Denver Broncos did in this game. I don't know what is going on with the Philadelphia offense, but let me tell you something. That Philadelphia offense finally cracked, and it showed in this game. There was a crazy stat. I don't know if you saw. It's been all over the place, but let me tell you something. When Saquon Barkley, and I called it at the very beginning, I said it, Barkley was going to regress. I called it from the get-go. In the last 5 games through week 5, he has had no better than 4 yards per carry, and he has had no more than 25 carries in a game. And this game specifically, they only fed him the ball 6 times. I'm sorry, but there is a problem in Philly, and finally they got caught with that problem. Everybody wants to ignore the fact that, oh, well, Philly's been to the Super Bowl last year. They've been getting away with these special plays, with some of these ludicrous plays for the last couple of games, and finally they got caught. They ran their stubborn rear ends up against that Denver defense, who finally showed out 6 sacks. I can't tell you how many TFLs they had and how many pressures they had on Jalen Hurts all game long. And Bo Nix showed up in the fourth quarter, and he performed over 100 yards and 1 touchdown to get the game winner to Evan Ingram. And we saw that. And we also saw something that we normally don't see from Peyton. He goes for a 2-point conversion to extend the lead and make it even more challenging on the Philadelphia Eagles. And they get that. I mean, give credit to the Broncos. They went into the Lincoln Financial Field and they showed the world we are here for real. Anything?
I think for Eagles fans of a certain age, this will bring back some horrible memories of Montana's finest hour. I think that's a lot what this looked like. I mean, this was stunning. They held them just a field goal the first 3 quarters, and all of a sudden you give up 18 points in the fourth quarter. And only 6 carries for Saquon Barkley, only 9 total touches. That's unacceptable. The past 3 times they've been in the Super Bowl, this being the third, every single time the offensive coordinator has gotten a job as a head coach, they've just promoted someone within to replacement. Every time they don't run the ball, which is what led to their success of getting to the Super Bowl in the first place. You have Saquon Barkley. Give him the ball. I don't want to hear this about their facing 8-man fronts. The Broncos were disguising their defenses. I don't care. Give Saquon Barkley the ball. If they stop him and you start throwing the ball, okay. But as soon as that pass is incomplete, you're right back to giving it to Saquon Barkley.
AJ Brown.
Even if it's immediately. I mean, come on. And then they're running this passing attack that, okay, guys, media, this is what you wanted, right? You wanted the Eagles to throw the ball so desperately. This is the result. Get out of the way. And offensive coordinator, if you're listening to the fans, then you should be sitting with them in the stands. That was embarrassing. Run the offense that works. The job is to win the game. Who cares what it looks like? I don't care if you complete a pass in the second half. I don't care how bad the passing game is. I don't care how set your star receiver is. You win. And you didn't. Because you're running, it looks like Russell Wilson out there, throwing the ball deep down the field in every play. There's a reason he's on the bench right now, and a rookie is starting for him who sucked yesterday. Excuse me. Come on. And then A.J. Brown's wide open, burns the defense in the fourth quarter, and Jalen Hurts overthrows him.
Yeah.
And that may have cost him the game. And then why is the officiating Zach Bond gets called for a personal foul. That wasn't a personal foul. The running back is keeping himself up. What is Zach Bond supposed to do? He's to ensure that he doesn't break away and make the play. If you want to blow the play dead, ref, blow the play dead. You should not be involved in deciding this game. You're the ref. No one wants to watch you. We're there to watch the players and the coaches determine the game, not a zebra. Go get hunted by a lion. Don't decide the game.
The Mad Chris take.
That was ridiculous. That was unacceptable. I don't know that the Eagles would have won the game anyway. Maybe they wouldn't have, but that was ridiculous. And then I don't understand why A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are stacked on top of each other on the final play in the Hail Mary, and A.J. Brown's on Devontae Smith's back. I mean, they could have made that catch. They had every opportunity to find a way to potentially win this game. So much credit to the Broncos for their comeback, but I am sick of the officiating. Get out of the way, okay? When kids go out for Halloween, they wear a Jalen Hurts jersey. They don't wear Land Clark's ref uniform. I apologize.
Hey.
That was a bit much. If I upset anyone, I'm sorry about that.
Hey. I'm not trying to gang on the Eagles, but for all those missed calls of blatant holding, literally, you can literally call blatant holding against Tampa Bay. It got caught up to them. I'm just saying. But either way, I digress. But yes, we're all scratching our heads too with that final play. You know, A.J. Brown over Devontae Smith literally going for that last catch. We're all scratching our heads. We don't understand that. But yeah, I digress.
I apologize if I upset anyone. I got a little hot there. I'm sorry.
The Matt Chris hour.
The Carolina Panthers came back from a 17-0 deficit to defeat the Miami Dolphins 27-24. Your takeaways.
The Panthers, what's their narrative? The Panthers keep pounding. And that's exactly what the Panthers kept doing all day game long. Rico Dowdle, 23 for 206. Let me repeat that. 23 carries for 206.
And he
that
only
is
played
insane.
Because Chuba Hubbard is hurt.
Hey, but I've been saying Rico Dowdle was an excellent back leaving out of Dallas.
Can you go deeper? Because he also had a touchdown and I believe 3 receptions for 28 yards as well. And yeah, you were.
Yeah, no, he had a tutty. I was going to say he had a tutty.
It's worked out for Dallas better. Javonte Williams has been far better than Rico Dowdle was for them. And Miles Sanders is there as well, even though he was hurt today. They drafted the rookie. That's worked out fine for the Cowboys. Obviously, we have a lot of season left. But, yeah, what a performance.
Crazy performance, but to move on from the Rico Dowdle full performance, as him and I stated here, if this hot seat is not boiling for Mike McDaniel at this point, I don't know what hot seat is not that he doesn't sit on. I mean, you had the lead from early on in this game, a good lead for that matter, and yet you let that Panthers offense drive it so far up where the sun doesn't shine, and they took control of this game late. They had no business doing that, but yet you let them do that. Mike McDaniel, I'm telling you, I don't know what the Las Vegas odds are for you getting axed first, and I don't wish that on any head coach, but it can't be any more higher to be number one than it is now, because this is atrocious. Honestly, that's my take.
Yeah, and obviously no Tyreek Hill for the Miami Dolphins, and word is he will not be back with them next season for whatever that's worth, and obviously we'll see. That's a decision for the offseason. That's down the road, months away. We just got through the first Sunday of October. That being said, this was a heck of a game. I mean, the comeback was awesome by the Panthers, 20 unanswered, which they took the lead finally in the fourth quarter. It took time. Bryce Young got off to a horrible start. He lost the fumble in which no one touched him. He just lost it. Good play by Bradley Chubb, and then Minka Fitzpatrick intercepted him after that. That's how the Dolphins built the 17-0 lead. They held it off with the field goal on the first possession, but then they got those back-to-back touchdowns. And Bryce Young just looked horrible, and then all of a sudden he looked great the rest of the way. He absolutely caught fire and was tremendous. We saw more overthrows from Tua Tagovailoa. He had a wide-open receiver he overthrew at one point in time. It's just exhausting at this point. It may have been. It was in the middle of the field. But the game just got nuts at that point once the Panthers took the lead and went back and forth. The Dolphins came down and responded by scoring a touchdown to go back in front, and then the Panthers scored the game-winning touchdown and then managed to finish it with the defensive stop to close it out and get the win. I mean, it was an unbelievable, just crazy game. It was awesome. Rico Dowdle was so impressive. Bryce Young was doing his thing. Those receivers were tremendous. It was a total
Leggett, finally he's back.
Yeah, and the rookie, Tedderell McMillan, I mean, and not just in this game, and every game so far, he just seems to get open like crazy and make good catches. And obviously high draft pick, superstar at Arizona. And then my final thoughts of this were, you mentioned it, Jalen Waddle. I mean, he obviously burnt the defense with his speed for the big touchdown to put them in the lead, which the Panthers responded and went back on top. That atmosphere in Charlotte was awesome, too. That stadium was going wild there. So that was a ton of fun. Great game. Credit to the players for what they did. Darren Waller as well, who wasn't even in the league last year. He had a good start to the game, so we got to shout him out for that because, again, he wasn't even in the league last year. Fun game. The Houston Texans went to Baltimore and beat the Ravens 44-10. No perennial first-team All-Pro quarterback Lamar Jackson. No first-team All-Pro fullback. No Pro Bowl left tackle Ronnie Stanley. Defensively, no former All-Pro and perennial Pro Bowl defensive lineman Nnamdi Madubuike, who's out for the season with a neck injury. He's on IR. No perennial first-team All-Pro inside linebacker Roquan Smith. No first-team All-Pro cornerback Marlon Humphrey. No perennial All-Pro safety Kyle Hamilton.
You want to keep going?
Your takeaways. That's the injury report. I'm sorry. It reads like a 49ers injury report.
All right, I'm going to say this as funny as I can. Prince Charming went into the Queen City and showed up your queen and literally took your queen from you. That's exactly what CJ Stroud just did. Whatever Baltimore's confidence to possibly win this game against a really bad offense by the Houston Texans, nope. CJ Stroud came in and said, not on my watch. This was an absolute embarrassment of a performance by Baltimore Ravens style of football. We have seen it before where Lamar has not have been in games and some of their key players have not been out. Now, you made all the long list of injuries that Lamar and the rest of the players were not there or they were there, they just were not playing the game. But yet, when CJ Stroud goes for 4 TDs, Nick Chubb scores. I mean, this was an absolute field day. At the end of the game, and I did not see this coming, but maybe you've been calling this for quite some time. The people are starting to call for John Harbaugh's head out of Baltimore. They really are. And they were booing him as the game was closing and have not done. So this was just an absolute confidence booster for the Houston Texans. They're not dead. They're 2-3. But the Ravens, it sure feels like they are dead at this point. I don't know if they can come back from 1-4. What's your take?
Patrick Ricard, the name of the first-team All-Pro fullback, by the way. You can't be missing all of those perennial Pro Bowl, All-Pro, first-team All-Pro players. All the guys you're paying so much money to, limiting how good their backups realistically are, all that talent against a really good team, and have any semblance of success. This was guaranteed to happen. There was no way they were going to avoid it. I just think it's absurd to criticize them too much for this. I mean, what were they supposed to do with all of those guys out? It's just the reality of things. They were put in a absolutely terrible position. Of course, this was going to happen. I mean, you clearly have something else. Go ahead.
I was going to say no. At least put a better offensive output. I mean, did not King Henry play in this game? I mean, you still have Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. You still have these weapons out in the field. I mean, granted, I'm not saying that their backup, is no chomp, but at the same time, I mean, Baltimore culture is to show fight, at least show a willingness to be in this game. Granted, I had Houston coming in and putting some work on that defense, yes, but show some fight. This wasn't a fight. This was not Baltimore football at all.
The Tennessee Titans went to Arizona and beat the Cardinals 22-21, scoring 19 unanswered points to finish the game after trailing 21-3. Nelson, your takeaways.
So this game, Arizona, again, as the famous Dennis in his grave, we let them off. I mean, honestly, they won for all the way up until the last 5 minutes, and then I've seen the flukiest of plays. Well, first of all, let me start off with the bozo play by DeMarcado. What the? Keep hold of the ball. You're gonna rant, but let me continue. That was the first big play of the game itself from a funny standpoint. Then you had the Tennessee Titans marching down the field. They were in the red zone. Subsequently, the ball's about to be picked. Nope, it gets fumbled. Then it gets kicked around. And then subsequently, the Titans fall on it, score a touchdown, and now it's a ball game.
It's like the Holy Roller. It's like the Holy Roller.
You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. And then Tennessee's defense stops the Arizona Cardinals. They get the ball back, and then we see an out of this world throw by Cam Ward to who
Calvin
else?
Ridley.
Who
Calvin
exactly?
Ridley.
A
Who had a
40-yard
heck of a game.
bomb.
Both of them.
Still, and then they go down and they steal the game, which has been an absolute same thing over and over with these Cardinals. They have lost on back-to-back, make it three back-to-back games on late winning field goals. And I am telling you, if I am the fan base of the Arizona Cardinals, I say this season we might as well put a fork in it. We lost to the Titans. Go ahead.
DiMercondo should be fined his game check for that. That's how I feel. It should be automatic fine game check if you do that for every player going forward. We see it too often. We just saw it last week with the Colts. We saw it last season with the Colts. We saw the Jets do it last year. We've seen it far too often anymore. I mean, can you remember when Deshaun Jackson did that as a rookie all the way back in 2008 on that Monday night game against the Cowboys? And in that circumstance, he didn't go through the end zone, so they kept the ball in the one and they scored a touchdown anyway. But that was like this huge deal that nobody could believe this obnoxious rookie from Berkeley would dare do that. Cal. But now, I remember it happening in the beatdown of the Ravens by the Broncos in the season opener in 2013 on what would have been a pick six, and the game Peyton Manning threw 7 touchdown passes, tying the NFL record. But now we're seeing it way, way too often. In college sometimes too. You should be fined your game check. And then the guy has the interception off the deflected pass on the wild play you're talking about. No one touches him, and he fumbles the football. And then they go to pick it up. Dude, just fall on it. Just fall on it. Why are you trying to scoop it up? Where are you going to go? You're going towards your own end zone. Seriously.
All I can hear is the great Berman literally just saying fumble Ruski.
I mean, it's
I'm cracking up, man.
Jim Marshall going the wrong way to the wrong end zone for a safety instead of a touchdown.
It was just hysterical, man.
I mean, somehow Tyler Lockett's recovering the end zone for touchdowns. You can't lose 2 fumbles in which no one touches you on either of them. The Cardinals easily should have won this game comfortably. It should have been like 28-16.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's one of the worst losses I've ever seen. It's one of the most inexplicable losses I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
The Tampa Bay's Buccaneers went to Seattle and beat the Seahawks 38-35 in a wild back-and-forth shootout. Nelson, your takeaways.
I don't know what is up with now lately. It's been a couple of years, and I'm not trying to get too far ahead with CBS, Fox, them getting their games. This should have been on the Fox Game of the Week window along with the other game. I mean, this game was absolutely game of the week. It was not nationally televised. It should have been. We saw the best performance by both teams. This kind of gave me a little jiggle of when we saw a long time ago with the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Rams in the Coliseum. It just gave you that kind of vibe. Every time a team would score a touchdown, it was just back and forth touchdowns. Amazing throws by Baker Mayfield. But let me just say once and for all, Baker Mayfield is him. He is a dog, and he is a four-quarter magician. I get it. The last game against the Eagles, he threw a bad pick. But this is what Mayfield does. You give him a chance to win the game, he is going to give you that best chance to win the game in and game out. And Emeka Egbuka, this guy's playing above his years, beyond ridiculous. He had a monster game, 7 receptions for 163 yards. That big, deep, beautiful ball by Baker Mayfield to get the game tied was an absolute big time throw by Baker Mayfield himself. Sam Darnold, I got to give him a shout out as well in this game. 27 for 33, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. But as always, JSN, I got to give another shout out. 8 for 132 and 1 touchdown. But I got to give the NFL, this is what the NFL is in a crux. It comes down to one play. And if it wasn't for that ball hitting a doink off a helmet, this game would have went into overtime possibly, let alone Seattle could have won that game. And yet they get that doink. Levante David picks it off. Baker Mayfield, as always, marches them downfield. They get the game-winning kick at the gun. And I am so happy for the Buccaneers. They are proving game in and game out that they are literally the top team possibly in NFC to face the Super Bowl. Honest to God. Any more of your take on this?
Yeah, what a game. I mean, this was an outstanding game as you detailed. It was unbelievable. It's worth noting the Buccaneers without Mike Evans, without Bucky Irving, Irving, excuse me. They're down 3 defensive backs, 2 of them cornerbacks, including Jamel Dean. On the Seahawks side of things, they're down 3 of arguably the top 4 or 5 defenders with Demarcus Lawrence, Julian Love, and the perennial Pro Bowler Devin Witherspoon all being out. So we were hoping to see that matchup with Mike Evans and Devin Witherspoon. Unfortunately, it didn't manifest because they both missed the game. Bucks down their top cornerback as well. And so, obviously, the injuries in the Seahawks defense allowed that Bucs offense to get going even with the injuries and for the game to be a bit wild. And the injuries in the secondary for Tampa Bay probably allowed Sam Darnold of his success. But plain and simple, Baker Mayfield outplayed Sam Darnold a bit, made a bit more plays. It was a bit more accurate, completing a bit more passes, and that was the difference. I do have to mention the wild play when the Bucs defensive end had an interception that would have been a pick six. He had a pick in the end zone. The Seahawks were backed up on their own 1 or 2, whatever it was.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Somehow it deflects off his hands because he wasn't ready for it because he's right there by the quarterback. So deflects those hands, and somehow Cooper Kupp is there to catch it for a first down and big play. The Seahawks go down and ultimately score a touchdown. I believe it's Torrey Horton who had the touchdown to cap it off, and Sam Darnold. That play Sam Darnold made on that touchdown throw was unbelievable. I mean, that was crazy. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned it. The Bucs ultimately were able to come back, and they eventually got the win. And it was just so we can let that mistake go. What a game! It was wild.
Oh yeah.
The Detroit Lions went to Cincinnati and beat the Bengals 37-24. No Pro Bowl left tackle Taylor Decker for the Lions. No Joe Burrow for the Bengals. Jake Browning started at quarterback. Your takeaways?
Well, just like Dallas going to New York, this was Detroit also. They could have put a 50 burger in on them, but they decided not to. I mean, this game, the score doesn't even resemble it. The 24 points that Cincinnati put on was mainly against backups towards the end of the game. Now, however, I do got to give credit to a bunch of players in this game, so it won't be much, but it'll be quick. Got to give credit to David Montgomery. I mean, we saw earlier his sister was in the stadium. Got to give a shout out to that because there was a freak accident, and finally she was able to see him play after quite some time. And he had this beautiful pass. I know it was a crazy play, but the jump pass. Yeah, it was a beautiful play that he had. He also had another rushing touchdown as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, Gibbs also contributed as well on the ground, and he also had another receiving touchdown as well. The whole offense, just in general, for the Detroit Lions, I mean, they're not missing a beat, and they exposed the Cincinnati really bad defense to a fault. Cincinnati, I mean, honestly, you only scored because the Detroit backups were in the second half. But you do got to give credit because at least they're putting in some effort, showing more effort, which this is what I was talking about, unlike the Baltimore and the Houston game. And, we saw finally, we saw their all-pro receiver, Chase, finally get 2 TDs in this game, made a ridiculous catch on that 1 touchdown, toe tap, signature toe tap, amazing. But regardless of that, I mean, if you're a Bengals fan, I mean, you're thinking to yourself, is this even going to be a season anymore? Are we sticking a fork in the season? Because, Jesus Christ, I mean, Detroit was literally mopping the floor on you guys because that's what Amon-Ra St. Brown did. And Amon-Ra, I got to give credit. I don't know about you, Chris, but it is up for debate. Amon-Ra is making a statement. He might be top 3. No. I think you've been saying he's been top 5. I think he's top 3 behind Jefferson and Chase as well.
I've hyped him the past couple weeks, and I said after the Monday night game in Baltimore, I said Jamar Chase number 1, Justin Jefferson number 2. Both those facts are indisputable, but if I had to take a wide receiver, I would take Amon-Ra St. Brown, even though he's not as good as those guys for all of the attributes he has. He never drops the ball. He's so strong and physical and powerful. He blocks well. He runs good routes. He does the little things. I would take him. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He wasn't a high draft pick like those two.
Yep. But yeah, that's my take. If you have anything else to mention.
Yeah, so can we play the clip of week 1 when you put a stake in the Detroit Lions and claim that they were for the dead?
You're always going to get me for that.
Absolutely. I just want to check my notes. The Lions had 5 touchdowns and a safety, so yeah. But no, I mean, tremendous performance by them, and Jake Browning comes out and throws 3 interceptions early on. Do you want to retract your statement about Jake Browning having a good game against the Jacksonville Jaguars when he threw 3 interceptions?
I mean, the Detroit defense, I would say, is way better than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, that's all the more reason that it was a bad performance by Jake Browning against Jacksonville Jaguars. So, moving on, he did come back and throw the 3 touchdown passes, as you mentioned. The play that you mentioned about Jamar Chase having the Antonio Brown touchdown, that was an unbelievable play by Jake Browning, Skirm Brown, to make that play. Jamar Chase then showed off his speed that we haven't gotten to see enough of. and he got behind the defense, and Jake Browning managed to get the ball out there for him so he could catch it for the touchdown. Good throw on that one to ensure that he could catch the ball, stay in bounds, and get the touchdown. Jamar Chase on all three interceptions had the tackle. On all three, had three tackles. All three of the interceptions, he had the tackle. So I'm glad they rewarded him for that late in the game with a couple touchdowns. We saw T. Higgins get a touchdown as well, so the guys are spending money on are getting their touches. But it all came in what amounted to garbage time. So I just don't know how much credit can really be given there.
No, that's what I said.
The Washington Commanders went to Los Angeles and beat the Chargers 27-10. The Chargers without Khalil Mack on defense. Offense, no Darius Davis, no Will Dissly, no Joe Alt. We know that Rashawn Slater is out for the season as well, so both backup tackles. The Commanders side of things, both those Ohio State products, a wide receiver and Terry McLaurin, the All-Pro, and Noah Brown are out. No Austin Eckler, no Dietrich Wise Jr. on defense. Your takeaways?
Just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. I'm sitting on Capitol Hill. Yes, that is Bill. He went crazy in this game. 150 total yards, 2 TDs. I mean, this guy is making himself a candidate for possibly Offensive Rookie of the Year so far, at least for a running back. I mean, he's just going nuts. I think he's leading the league now in yards per carry. I don't know how far up he is in yards himself, but the overall team is now, I believe, after this Sunday, first overall in team rushing. So Bullet Bill, I mean, he is really laminating himself in Washington nicely. I thought Jaden was efficient in this game, coming back finally after his injury. He did look off with those cleats that he was playing first, but as soon as he put in his actual cleats that he was wearing, I mean, 231 through the air. He had that big bomb 50-yard pass to Luke McCaffrey. What a catch by Luke. What a catch by Luke, too. No, throw, but catch by Luke. He had the corner literally draped all over him, and that was a heck of a catch. And then we saw Deebo Samuel, again, having a great game. Everyone who was saying Deebo Samuel lost a step and saying that he can't produce. Well, darn it, for the first 4 weeks, he's been producing. The LA Chargers, you guys get some serious problems on an offensive line, and it showed. Because the Washington Commanders, they do not have a great defensive front by any means, but yet they sacked your quarterback 6 times. They were putting pressure all over Justin Herbert all game long. And honestly, if it wasn't for Keenan Allen and for his plays that he was making, this game, I don't know if it was even close to say, because I fairly thought that the Commanders were putting up a much better fight second quarter all the way to the fourth quarter. Honest to goodness. So with that being said, the Chargers, I think you're in trouble, especially with losing both your tackles. We don't know when Joe Alt's going to come back. And you guys also lost Mekhi Becton again to injury. It'll be interesting to see what Jim Harbaugh does with this team going forward, because they look like they are in trouble. Amari Hampton also left the game with an injury, by the way. 2 notes. Anything to add?
Yeah, I found it play very frustrating early on when the Chargers ultimately got a touchdown. I believe it was to Keenan Allen, but before that, they should have only gotten a field goal, and Sanders still inexcusably jumped off sides. He redeemed himself with a couple of big plays as a defensive back later in the game, but I see far too many mistakes from him, whether they're missed tackles, jumping outside, something like that, being out of position, getting beat, in coverage getting beat, stuff like that. But he did make a couple big plays, so give him credit for that in this game. I was very frustrated again with the refs getting involved, the roughing the punter call. Remove stuff like that from the game. If you want to find
that was definitely a roughing.
Fine. But if you want to find someone for doing that, fine. But it has nothing to do with the play. Ladd McConkey had an incredible return for a touchdown. It should have counted. The game flipped at that moment. Jaden Daniels had the long pass to Luke McCaffrey immediately after that. Look, the Commanders had started getting their offense going, got a touchdown on the previous drive. They probably would have kept it going and dominated that game. The defense followed suit. But that should have been a touchdown for the Chargers, and we should have had a different final score here, even if it was the last one they had after being up 10-0. That's ridiculous. That had nothing to do with the play. It should not be 15-yard penalty. Just like in the Eagles game, the Zach Bond had nothing to do with the play. It occurred after the play. If it doesn't have anything to do with the play, there should be no penalty, no 15-yard penalty. It's massive, and no first down. We should be determining what happens during the plays. That's what football is. It's a play-to-play thing. If stuff happens in between plays, it should not impact the game. If you want to find players, find them. But don't determine the game by stuff that has nothing to do with the game.
So
One on this.
So I mean, but we can say the same thing when it comes to, well, what about QBs? I mean, QBs, everyone has their star QB, and if somebody goes low on the QB's legs, we can't be. No, but I'm saying we can't be hypocrites either. That's why the QBs, the punters, the kickers, they all, are equally important to the game. There usually are no backups to kickers and punters. That's why they're protected. It's a part of the game. If you risk it and you tip it, then fine. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But if you risk it and you're going in and you hurt the guy's leg, regardless if it's the Commanders, the Cowboys, whoever, it does not matter. You are going to get in trouble. That's how the game has always been called. Simple as that. Unless you hit the ball. That's a different story.
Impressive performance by the Commanders. They absolutely dominated this game. Long trip out west on the road. They rubbed it in by going for the touchdown of Deebo Samuel on the 4th and 7 at the end for the icing on the cake. So they were not playing around with that one. So good for them. Good win. But for Nelson Jordan, I'm Chris Nelson. That's all we've got today, guys. We'll see you next time. This has been the First and Final Word.